Good afternoon, sir.
Hello sir, namaste sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
एक 2 मिनिटात सुरू करूया सर.
Okay, okay.
आमच्याकडे सायमल्टेनियस एक दुसरा पण कार्यक्रम चालू आहे. सो
Okay.
फक्त आमचं फॅकल्टी तिकडे जॉईन झालेलं आहे. एक 2 मिनिटात सुरू
Sure.
करूया.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again. This is the second section of FDP. Now I request Dr. M.S. Bergeman to introduce today's session's second speaker, Dr. S.S. Gilda, Sir, Associate Professor from GES College of Pharmacy, Satara. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vinaya ma'am. Am I audible? Good afternoon, sir. On behalf of Department of Chemistry, we welcome you in this faculty development program uh, of the drug chemistry at BSc Part First. So it gives me an immense pleasure to introduce the resource person, Honorable Dr. Suhit Gilda, sir. Sir has very strong academic profile. He has done MPharm and PhD from Bharati Vidyapit Pune. Sir is GATE qualified. Sir is also done NPDF from the AICTE Delhi. He has, during his research work, he is supported with the Junior Research Fellowship at the Department of Quality Assurance Techniques, Bharati Vidyapit Pune, and also From 2006 to 2010, his research was supported with the Senior Research Fellowship at the Department of Pharmaceuticals at the same Bharati Vidyapit Pune. Along with this strong academic profile, uh, Sir has excellent research record also. There are 21 research publications on his credit. Number of poster and paper presented in national international conferences are 4, and Sir has 5 patents on his credit. Along with this, Sir has guided a number of students for their research projects. Sir has also done diploma in intellectual property law from the World Intellectual Property Organization, Geneva, and he is also working as a knowledge transfer partnership associate at University of Bradford. Along with this, Sir is also having professional membership, and the very inspiring for us, he is awarded with the various precious awards, like he is recipient of Maheshwari Ratna Special Critics Award 2013 for excellence in field of science. He is recipient of Mahesh Idol 2019. Also, he has received Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Lifetime Achievement National Award 2019 by the International Institute for Social and Economic Reforms. He has received Me Padvidhar Award in 2019, etc. So with this very strong academic as well as research profile, we welcome you again, sir. Uh, and I forgot to mention, sir currently is working as an associate professor at GEC Satara College of Pharmacy. So with this short introduction, we welcome you, sir, for this faculty development program in drug chemistry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank
So,
you, ma'am. Now I kindly request Dr. S.S. Gilda, sir, to continue our event by sharing some words with us. Over to you, sir.
thank you very much, madam, for introducing me, and so, great pleasure to share the thoughts about Ayurveda and all the scientific concepts from the Ayurvedic formulation. Okay, so hope so. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, with due permission from the organizers, so I would like to share uh, the PPTs. So, should I?
Yes, sir.
This screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So today I'm going to share with you so what are the perspectives from Dr. Gilda's nutrition point of view and what we have done for the development of Ayurvedic medicine. So I'm very much proud to say we are the fourth generation and we are having almost 120 years of experience in the field of Ayurveda and formulation development. So before going for actual discussion, so we'll have a disclaimer and I will just put the slide for you to have a look at. So this is what exactly right now we are having. So you might have heard the story of elephant and seven blind men, and what they were asked for. They have asked for to detail exactly what do you mean by elephant or how elephant looks like. So, according to one, it is like a fan. According to one, it is like a spear. According to one, it's like a snake. It is like a tree. It is like a wall. It is like a rope. But actually, what is exactly elephant is only and only a person who is having a vision or having a complete, clear knowledge about information about elephant can describe what is exactly elephant is. Today, what we are right now having, so we are like a blind men who are trying to describe elephant is, and the elephant in the picture is depicted typically in terms of it is like the image of Ayurveda. So according to some, oh, it's Ayurveda, it's like a long therapy and it will not have effects. According to the scientists, no, 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 it's not the work because already it has done. But according to Ayurveda, what exactly it is? So it is a complete whole world of science, and it is not merely about the formulations. It depicts about lifestyle, and it covers actually the definition of health from the WHO point of view. That is, it covers the health, the physical health, as well as the mental health, the social health, and so on. So what we are trying to look at the scenario is with the formulation point of view, the area where most of us will have their opportunities lying down. So we are going to discuss about the formulation development of Ayurvedic medicines. So before going for actual Ayurvedic formulation development, I would like to tell you it's a very simple thing, but only and only thing you have to make yourself clear with the mental blocks about it is not a different thing. It is totally the same as we are having our scientific understandings. Only thing uh, that we have to make sure that there should not be any mental block when we are discussing about the Ayurveda. So what is exactly the Ayurvedic system of medicine? Yes, and there is one more point I would like to tell you that whenever we are going, I will have some Marathi concepts. Is it okay to have the mixture of or say the fusion of some language? Uh, Ayurvedic system is what exactly? So Ayurveda is the Indian system of medicine and treatment. Previously it was inclusive because when we are having uh, Ayurvedic treatment as a part of the therapy or the medicinal system. But nowadays we are having allopathy, we are having Ayurveda, we are having homeopathy, we are having Unani system, and again we are having WhatsApp medicinal system. Uh, but Ayurveda is totally genuine and what we can say, the spiritually developed or scientifically they are such a strongly developed system that the thing is we are unable to even achieve the level of standards set by the Ayurveda. So the word Ayurveda is a
Sorry to
combination of
interrupt you, sir, but
yes,
we
ma'am.
are unable to see the next slide.
Right now, I think so. So whenever I am going for the slideshow, I think so. It is.
Uh,
It is available right now.
yeah, now we can see.
Yes, it is Ayurvedic system of medicine, right? Is it visible clearly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is the word Ayurveda is a combination of two Sanskrit words. So that is the Ayu, that is meaning life, and Veda, that is meaning science or knowledge. Hence, Ayurveda is called as the science of life, and we are having a strong background of around 3,000 years. So we are using it, and we have strong references from the ancient literature also that we are having. Uh, we were practicing Ayurveda. So what exactly the Ayurvedic formulations are? So these are the typical technical definition given or prescribed by the regulatory authorities. So when I'm saying regulatory authorities, we have to take into consideration whatever the definition given by the regulatory authority only. So what they are calling Ayurvedic formulation is what? So Ayurvedic formulations which are obtained by subjecting herbal substances to the treatment such as extraction, distillation, expression, fractionation, purification, concentration, or fermentation even. So these include comminuted or powder herbal substances, tinctures, extracts, essential oils, express juices, and processed exudates. So Ayurvedic formulations also consider the products from the animal origin, products from the mineral origin, so it's like whatever available for the treatment, and they have formulated in such a way that the patient, I will say, uh, uh, the person will have definitely curative treatment. So what is exactly the basic Ayurvedic formulations are? So it is in the two forms, classical formulations and proprietary medicines. So what is exactly the classical formulations? These are typically depicted from, or these are typically based on the Ayurvedic textbooks, such as Charak Sanhita, Sushruta Sanhita, and in Charak Sanhita, Sushruta Sanhita, or Yoga Ratnakar, or Bhava Prakash Nighantu. So there are many books which are having a strong literature about how to manufacture the drug, what are exactly the formula, and what are the concentrations we have to use, how to proceed for, and all the things, even the quality control test also. But the realistic challenge is to transcript those formula, transcript those quality control tests into the modern parameters. So that is the realistic of it. And according to the classical formulations, or according to the Ayurvedic textbooks point of view, we are having Bhasma, Vatika, Gutika, Asava, Rishta, Tela. So these are all from, or Avaleha, we are having. Nowadays, what we have seen, because as we are having a strong research background right now with the modern parameters, so we are developing rather proprietary medicines. So these are also known as patient medicines. So, or these are really like a parallel to the pharmaceutical world. So as you are going to see the pharmaceuticals, so if the patient is having fever of 101 degree Fahrenheit, the physician will prescribe paracetamol of 500 mg. And if the patient is having fever of 98 degrees Fahrenheit, so again, the same concentration of paracetamol will get prescribed. So it is not a customized way of treatment. And sorry to say, but proprietary medicines are working on the same style, that they are trying to develop such a formulations which are ready to available, and these are like modern Ayurvedic medicines with definite dosage forms and definite doses also. So if you have got some time, that Live 52, which is the Ayurvedic proprietary medicine by the Himalaya company, Live 52. So it is applicable. It is not customized one. So it is the dose is given like 1 or 2 tablets per day, likewise. So it is a proprietary medicine. So it is maybe in the form of tablets, capsules, syrups, even though lozenges. Right now we are having some types of suspensions even, or topical formulations. So these are proprietary medicines. So this is the basic difference. First way we have to understand that there are two. The formulations which are directly taken from the Ayurvedic text books, they are called as classical formulations, and you have to give the strong reference from the Ayurvedic books. And second one is proprietary medicines. Some of the contents are taken from the Ayurvedic textbooks, and some are formulated according to the modern needs. So typically Ayurvedic formulations are four types: Arishta, Avaleha, Churna, Gutika. There are many also, but according to the market point of view, these four are having their strong presence, or having the patient acceptability. So what is exactly the Arishta? Arishta is like a self-generated alcohol preparation, where it is, the example is we have given as a Jirak, Jirak Adishta. So typically it contains cumin seeds, and along with the jaggery, which is acting as a glucose source, dhaki as a that is Woodfordia fruticosa, which is the source of microbial species, which have been, which we will use as a for the generation of self-generated alcohol for the fermentation. And then ginger, nutmeg, musta, cardamom, patra, cinnamon. So if you have gone through any formulation from the Ayurveda, from the proprietary medicine also, or as well as from the classical formulation point of view, you will observe minimum 5 to 6 ingredients on the label. The reason behind that, when they are developing the formulations, they are taking care of ADME as well as pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics as well as pharmacodynamics. So what is exactly the pharmacokinetics, where we are dealing with drug and their absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. So they are taking the responsibility, the formulators, Ayurvedic formulators are taking the responsibility of the drugs journey from the absorption to the excretion. So they have thought about, definitely they have thought about what will be uh, the fate of the drug after eliciting its pharmacological activity. So how it will get excreted without hampering the normal health of that organ. Say, for example, you must have noticed about some steroids used in case of allopathic medicine. So it is acting on asthmatic patients. Definitely, the patients are getting relieved from the symptoms of asthma. But after eliciting pharmacological activity, after relieving the symptoms, what the drug will have, how the drug will get excreted from the body? No, the formulators, formulation scientists, they are not taking responsibility. But in case of Ayurveda, they are taking. Say, for example, Nagakeshar, it is having the cinnamon, it is having the patra, it is having cardamom. They are taking the care of taste also. They are taking the care of liver protection also. They are taking the care of kidney care also. So this is the thing what we are trying to have, and when we are developing Arishta formulations or any Ayurvedic formulations. So what is exactly the use of Jiragaristan? So as per the thing, it regularizes the menstruation, improves appetite. So it has a long thing. Dose may be 1 or 2 tablespoons. It get varies according to the physician, and that's what always and always, or as directed by the physician line, you will observe on the label. So what is exactly the general method of preparations? As we have seen, Arishta, these are the self-generated alcohol containing formulations. So the drug, which is coarsely powder, and kasaya, that is the what we are trying to have, a smooth paste of coarsely powder is prepared, and we are training it in the fermentation vessel. Then we are adding sugar, jaggery or honey as required, and dissolve, boiled, and added. Then we are covering the mouth of the vessel with the argan grid. Uh, Definitely, we are adding the wood for the fruticosa, that is the flowers of bhatki. And so in some cases, we are adding the flowers for moho. So these are some parameters according to the Ayurveda, that how we are going to standardize the Arishta. So it must be clear liquid without any fourth. Then pleasant aromatic odor of alcohol, should not have sour taste. No effervescent sound should be there. So that is the sign of completion of fermentation. If the fermentation is going on, we will have the effervescent sound. It is like it is anaerobic fermentation, definitely, and that's what it relieves the carbon dioxide bubbles, and that is the sound of effervescence. So after completion, it should not give. Then additive sink to the bottom, it must be there. Burning candles burns brightly when placed in or just above the sandhana bar. So it is like the vapors or the fumes of alcohol that gives the brightness of burning candle. Nowadays, what we are trying to have, we are transcripting those parameters into different parameters. That is a modern language parameters, we can say. Organoleptic properties, organoleptic evaluation of those properties, that is the color, odor, taste, and like that. Then physical evaluation, we are having the pH, specific gravity at 25 degrees Celsius in order to find it out whether the alcohol is generated or not. So there is a lot of difference between the normal fermentation and Ayurvedic fermentation. So in this case, we are using dhaki flower as a source of microorganisms for fermentation. Like Saccharomyces cerevisiae may be there. So there are 26 species which are residing on the flowers, and we are using as a fermentation source for that. But when we are seeing the normal fermentations, there are highest chances of contamination or generation of higher alcohol. than ethanol, that is methanol, butanol, or maybe on. But in case of Ayurvedic fermentation, there are no chances or least chances of contamination, and that is due to we are using the ackee flower, which contains a consortium, a group of species of Saccharomyces cerevisiae. When they are having a consortium and when they are fermenting, they are having a control over the manufacturing of higher alcohols. They prepare only and only, they convert only sugar into ethanol only. That's what we are having cell-generated alcohol from. I make a differ here. There are some companies which really have. They really come up with a formulation in a one day. Normally, Ayurvedic fermentation takes minimum 45 days to up to 1 year. But some companies try to have a batch of Arista or Asava within one day. They are using prepared ethanol. They are putting down in the typical range of 15 to 20%, and they are soaking the herbs in that, and they are saying, yes, we have done the fermentation. But it should not be the case. This is a malpractice, and we should have a thorough control over such practices. Then we are having alcohol content with the help of some instruments. We can have alcohol content measurement, reducing sugar, non-reducing sugar, test for methanol, total acidity. Then we are having the chromatographic of fingerprinting of such thing, shelf life studies, and viscosity. So these are some parameters what we have. We are using government or as FDA have not given such type of standard parameters for analysis, but we have prepared in-house parameters, we can say. And then the second formulation is about Avaleha. So already have even the tested of Chavanprash in the last 1.5 years, and there is like a lot of requirement for Avaleha preparations. So what exactly the Avaleha contains? Kashaya, that is the decoctions or other liquids from different herbs. Then we are using the jaggery, sugar or sugar candy. We are having the churna or powder or pulps of certain drugs. Let's say, for example, amla. Uh, Ghee is a necessity, or oils are there. But ghee, most of the which are like having their standards for Chavanprash or Avaleha, they are using ghee instead of oil. But in order to save the cost or in order to increase the profitability, they are using oil. But typical authentic Avaleha preparation contains ghee and sometimes honey. That is a standard thing. So it is like a Chavanprash, and it is typically formula for Chavanprash. So when we are seeing the classical formulation of Chavanprash, it contains around 55 ingredients in that, because it is like it increases the vigor and vitality, it increases the lifespan, it acts as an immunomodulator or immunoprotective activity by the Chavanprash, and so on. So it works for all the things. So typically it is a rasayan. It's not as a chemical rasayan, but it is a rasayan, and it is as per the Ayurveda, rasayans are used to have clear the deficiencies, and in order to have it is a typical word. That is a dhatu. It is not about the metal. It is the dhatu. So these are like the contents of the body, and they call it as a dhatu. If the dhatu kshaya, that is the deficiency of any what we can say nutrient is there, it may come up with some diseases or disorders. So rasayan is typically for the enrichment of the health, and very few industries or few companies have their authentic Chavanprash. Otherwise, uh, according to a survey, authentic Chavanprash minimum cost for 1 kg is 600 to 700 rupees. Minimum cost, I'm saying. And if you are getting Chavanprash at 200 rupees or 300 rupees kilo, so you have to take into consideration that what it will be, it will contain. So again, as we have seen, So it contains the gila, ashwagandha, anjir, and all that. And each and every ingredient has a logic behind putting in the च्यवनप्राश. च्यवनप्राश कधी बनवायचा, कसा बनवायचा, अकॉर्डिंग टू द सीझन, कधी फ्रुट्स ते कलेक्ट करायचे, ते किती मॅच्युअर पाहिजे. सो there is a logic, or there is a standard protocol, I will say, is there. When you are preparing Chyawanprash, you have to follow the number of what we can say. It's not about the steps involved, but it is about how your mindset is even. Who is formulating the Chyawanprash, the mindset of that person is also necessity. So likewise. So it contains bale. So they have taken the importance of each and every organ even. So if you are seeing the bale is there. So which is we are offering to the Shiva, and it is a very good thing for the alimentary tract. And it keeps your intestine in the normal position. It contains pushkarma, which is like kakad shindi. So it covers the entire elements. So from the normal cough, fever, or whatever, it covers entire things. Then what are the different uses? Anti-aging supplement, cleans the digestive system, lowers cholesterol and triglycerides, reduces colon cancer risk, prevents recurrent colds and allergies. So as per the conditions, 1 or 2 spoons are advised. So what is exactly the method of preparation? So it contains, it is as per the Ayurvedic text. So I will not go through each and every step, because we have to follow the steps as it is. The challenge here is the typically conversion of units, or transcripting those language. So in Ayurvedic case, it is given in the form of some shloka, and you have to translate that shloka into the modern language, and you have to understand what exactly they are trying to see. So I will give an example, like in case of bhasma. So bhasmas are the powder preparations, and it is around like Gajaputa Bhasma. That is, you have to use 1000 cow dung cakes. शेणाच्या गौऱ्या असतात, त्या 1000 गौऱ्यांचा पूर्णपणे ते प्रिपरेशन बनवायचं, आणि त्याच्यामध्ये आपलं भस्माचं जे पॉट असेल ते ठेवायचं, अँड यू हॅव टू इन्सिडेंट दॅट थिंग. सो the temperature will be according to so and so, according to Ayurveda, and it will achieve the bhasma preparation. But 1000 गजपुता म्हणजे गोवऱ्या तेवढ्या वापरायच्या 1000, तर त्या कशा पद्धतीच्या असल्या पाहिजेत, मग त्या कुठल्या, म्हणजे त्या गाईच्या चालतील का म्हशीच्या शेणापासून बनवायला चालतील, और लाईकवाईज मग आकार केवढा पाहिजे, त्याची रचना कशी पाहिजे, त्या अकॉर्डिंग टू द डायरेक्शन्स, से लाईक नॉर्थला ठेवायचं डायरेक्शन, साऊथ वेस्ट वगैरे वगैरे, इट इज गिवन टिपिकली इन द फॉर्म ऑफ श्लोका, and you have to follow that thing. बट मोस्ट ऑफ द इंडस्ट्रीज किंवा कंपन्यांना त्या गोष्टी तेवढ्या डिपेक्ट होत नाही, किंवा त्यांचे पण काही लिमिटेशन्स असतात की त्या गोष्टी ते करू शकत नाही. सो इट इज व्हेरी मच डिफिकल्ट, आणि त्याच्यामुळं त्या स्टेप्सवरती अवलंबून असलेले जे रिझल्ट्स असतात ते मिळत नाही. म्हणजे बरेच वेळा असं होतं की आयुर्वेदिक प्रॉडक्ट्सला रिझल्ट्स मिळत नाही आपण जेव्हा म्हणतो. सो इट्स व्हेरी डिफिकल्ट थिंग, कारण ते त्या पद्धतीनं बनवलेलं असेल की नसेल, गॉड नोज. ॲक्च्युली इट इज देअर, कारण आयुर्वेदिक फॉर्म्युलेशन्स एवढे पोटंट असतात की जर तुम्ही व्यवस्थित घेतले तर ॲलोपॅथीपेक्षा सुद्धा फास्ट रिझल्ट्स मिळू शकतात. बट ओनली थिंग, प्युअर आयुर्वेदिक प्रॅक्टिशनर हवा आहे, डायग्नोसिस परफेक्टली झालेलं पाहिजे, वी कॅन से नाडी परीक्षा आणि सगळ्या गोष्टी. आणि थर्ड थिंग, फॉर्म्युलेशन खूप चांगल्या क्वालिटीचं हवं आहे, नॉट ओनली की फॉर द सेक ऑफ मार्केट पर्पज पटकन बनवून दिले असं नको आहे. सो प्रोसेस ज्या आहेत त्या ॲज परच पाहिजे, तरच, म्हणजे इव्हन तो त्यांनी हे पण दिलेलं आहे की महिन्याच्या कुठल्या तिथीला तुम्हाला बनवायचं आहे ते. मग जर का त्यावेळेस म्हणजे रात्री काही काही प्रिपरेशन्स बनवायचे, काही दिवसा बनवायचे आहेत, काही गोष्टी सनलाईटमध्येच तुम्हाला करायच्या आहेत, काही गोष्टी मूनलाईटलाच एक्सपोज करायच्या आहेत. सो खूप सारे, म्हणजे म्हटलं ना की ऑल टुगेदर इट्स अ डिफरंट थिंग. आपण जेवढं म्हणतो ना आयुर्वेदाला जितके म्हणजे वेगळ्या पद्धतीने देतो तितकं आयुर्वेदा नाही आहे. आयुर्वेदा म्हणजे खूप 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 प्रेशियस आणि खूप मोठं नॉलेज आहे ते. यू कांट म्हणजे आपण जोपर्यंत प्रॅक्टिस करत नाही तोपर्यंत आपल्याला ते लक्षात येत नाही. बट इफ यू आर फॉलोईंग ते पूर्णपणे होतं. म्हणजे आता बरेच वेळा म्हणजे खूप लोकांनी त्याचा अनुभव घेतला असेल की महाभृंगराज तेल आपण वापरतो, तर ते बनवण्याची एक प्रोसेस आहे की ज्याला दुधाबरोबर त्या गोष्टी सगळ्या बॉईल करायच्या असतात आणि टिपिकली मूनलाईटला ठेवायच्या असतात काही दिवस. आणि या सगळ्या प्रोसेसला म्हणजे जर महाभृंगराज तेल बनवायचं असेल टिपिकली किंवा बटाजटादी तेल बनवायचं असेल तर कमीत कमी 8 ते 9 महिने लागतात. इट्स व्हेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अ कंपनी की 8 ते 9 महिने एखाद्या बॅचवरती आपण प्रोसेसिंग करत राहायचं आणि 8 ते 9 महिन्यानंतर आपण ते मार्केटमध्ये घेऊन यायचं. इट्स व्हेरी डिफिकल्ट. बट देर आर सम कंपनीज की अजूनही ते प्रॅक्टिस फॉलो करतात आणि त्यांच्या सगळ्या गोष्टींना तसेच रिझल्ट मिळतातही. सो द थिंग सो आवले हा जो सेमी सॉलिड डोसेज फॉर्म आहे, च्यवनप्राश सारख्या गोष्टी आहेत किंवा आपण म्हणतो जॅम सारख्या गोष्टी आहेत. सो आवलेहाच्या परीक्षण आपण जे म्हणतो अकॉर्डिंग टू आयुर्वेदा, सो कॅन बी लिफ्टेड इन अ स्पून ॲज अ ट्रिकल when pressed between the fingers shows threadness, ज्याला आपण म्हणतो की साखरेचा पाक केल्यानंतर बरेच वेळा आपण एक ऑब्झर्व करतो की पाक कसा बनलाय, तर 1 ताऱ्याचा बनलाय, 2 ताऱ्याचा बनलेला आहे, अँड ऑन दॅट बेसिस वी आर ट्राईंग टू डेव्हलप. तर इथेही तसंच आहे आवलेहाच्या बाबतीत सुद्धा. सो इट शुड गेट स्टिक when we are pressing between the fingers and should threads. Sinks in water without getting easily dissolved because it contains honey, because it contains ghee in that, so it has to be. Finger leaves impression on that when we are pressing the finger on the avleha preparation. Sure. Nowadays आपल्या पद्धतीने organoleptic properties, physical parameters like the pH, solid content and all the things, reducing sugar, total sugar, chromatographic analysis for the contents, test for heavy metals. So this is nowadays it is become mandatory according to regulatory authority that we have to report for the test for heavy metals. Then microbial contamination, yes, due to the collection. And बरेच जणांना अनुभव पण असेल हा की च्यवनप्राश वरती मायक्रोबियल कंटॅमिनेशन खूप फास्ट होतं बिकॉज इट कंटेन्स लॉट ऑफ द थिंग. बट इट इज द इंडिकेशन दॅट इट इज प्युअर. अदरवाइज प्रिझर्वेटिव्ह ॲड केल्यानंतर मायक्रोबियल कंटॅमिनेशन होणारच नाही. प्रिझर्वेटिव्ह आर नॉट अलाउड अकॉर्डिंग टू द आयुर्वेदा. आयुर्वेदा टेक्स इट सेल्फ, जर तुम्ही त्याच पद्धतीने प्रॅक्टिस करून जर बनवलेलं असेल आयुर्वेदिक पद्धतीनं तर मायक्रोबियल कंटॅमिनेशन होण्याचे चान्सेस येत नाही. जनरली च्यवनप्राश किंवा जे आवलेहा आहेत हे 1 वर्षानंतर वापरायला घेतात आणि तोपर्यंत त्याला काही म्हणजे एकाही पद्धतीचं मायक्रोबियल ग्रोथ किंवा फंगस ग्रोथ होत नाही. देन शेल्फ लाईफ अनालिसिस, प्रिव्हियसली लाईक इन्फिनिट टाईमसाठी आपण आवलेहा प्रिपरेशन्स बनवत होतो. बट ड्यू टू द इम्प्लिमेंटेशन ऑफ ड्रग्स अँड कॉस्मेटिक्स ॲक्ट्स, 3 years is like a shelf life according to the FDA. Then what is exactly the physical evaluation? So loss on drying at we have to find out total ash value, acid insoluble ash, pH, specific gravity, total solid contents, fat contents. So Dashanga Gutika. So as we have already discussed that when you are taking any Gutika or Vatika preparation, it contains a number of ingredients in it. So typically Dashanga Gutika, which is used for as an anti-inflammatory, or we are using Dashanga leaf whenever there is inflammation, म्हणजे पाय मुरगळला असेल किंवा लागला असेल तर, किंवा काही केसमध्ये दशांग गुटिका ओरली पण दिली जाते. So it contains vacha, hingo, vidang. So all these are gajapipadi from both species. Then pravishta sunthi, maricha, and pipali. So it contains, and according to that, each and everyone has its own role. Say for example, pipali is a yoga vahi, we can say. In another terminology, it acts as a bioenhancer. It increases the absorption of certain drugs. As we have seen, and as per the doses by the yes. So Vaishagya Ratnavali is another. The thing is, so 3 grams of churna is prescribed according to the So how it is prepared? It is a powder form, a powder dosage form. So it is through uh, some sales and cloth. So vastraga, that is like the thing is. So if it is, so that has to be. Gutica parameters, organoleptic properties, total sugar, reducing sugar, phytochemical assessment by any means, that is chromatographic analysis or all those. Then particle size, identification by the microscopy, HPLC or HPTLC, TLC, preparative TLC we can go for. Nowadays it is coming up with micro level TLC, where we are putting a very small sample of that is called a UPLC, ultra thing. Then test for heavy metals and toxins, microbial contamination, and pesticide residue. Physical evaluation, ash value, acid insoluble, and all the parameters. So typically, if parameters may have melting temperature or other, we can. Again, pharmaceutical parameters nowadays we are incorporating in order to have consistency in quality. Hardness testing, uniformity in weight, uniformity in diameter, because it is a machine operated parameters, machine controlled parameters we can say. Then friability test, dissolution time, disintegration time, and disintegration test will be there. So again, we are having churna preparations, another dosage form, and widely accepted churna. So triphala churna is the common thing each and everyone have even taken some time away. Then it contains gokshara churna, amlaki churna, guduchi churna. Triphala is like amla, hirda, and behda. We are having. So again, classification of dosage form according to its physical state. We are having solid dosage forms, churna, bhasma, gutika, vatika, then shara, nasya we are having. Then semi-solid dosage forms, we are having avaleha, lepa, kalka, swarasa, and prash. Suvarna prash is one of the classic example. Each and everyone is aware about this Suvarna prash. So these are like a nanotechnologically driven product, but originally Ayurvedic products are well ahead of the current science, that they have developed all the formulations with the superior technology. When they were not having any type of scanning electron microscopy or even the transmission electron microscopy, like. Then the liquid dosage forms are there: Asava, Arishta, Arka, Vatha, Grita. So Shakadauta Grita is there. These are like ghee containing preparations formulated with minimum 100 or 500 times treatment with different types of extracts, water based extracts. Then Tel, Dravaka, Netrabindu. So Asava Arishta, so these are like self-generated alcohol preparations, and there is a difference between the Asava and Arishta. Is like Arishta is prepared from the decoction of the medicinal herbs, while Asava is prepared from the powder herb. So when we are preparing Asava, we are using direct powdered herbs, and in case of Arishta, we are using decoction of medicinal herbs. So what are the different general precautions during the preparation of Asava Arishta? We have to use earthen fermentation vessel. According to modern science or Schedule T, as per the Drugs and Cosmetics Acts, we can't use earthen fermentation vessel or wooden fermentation vessel for preparation of Asava Arishta, because there are chances of contamination from the earthen or wooden fermentation, but we have to. This is the way. Then we are using water, that is most of the time it is a distilled water, But according to Ayurveda, it has to be a potable water. So there is a difference between the distilled water and potable water. So we have to use potable water. Then we have to maintain the cleanliness during the process. We have to fumigate all those vessels with the pipidi churna and smeared with cow ghee. This is type of a sterilization process according to the Ayurveda. And mark my words, after going through the fumigation by the Ayurvedic way, there are no chances of contaminations. But if we are using some modern techniques, uh, there are chances of contamination also, or rather say toxicity of those fumigating material may be there. But in case of Ayurveda, it is absolutely safe and 100% effective sterilization was there. Wooden pot, porcelain jars or metal vessels are used. Uh, we have already seen. What is a preparation methodology? So we have to take a powder drug or decoction. In case of Arista, we will decoction. We have to transfer into the fermentation mixer. Then we have to add the solution of sugar, jaggery, or honey as per the formulation. Then we have to close down, we have to ferment at a constant temperature, and we have to then set aside. Fluid, we have to decant and filter, and we have to boil those for avoid the further fermentation. Fermentation induces Dhaki Pushpa we can use, that is good for the Fruticasa, Draksha, raisins we can use. Sugarcane juice also, that is like when it contains some type of molasses, we can use it. Rice, wheat, we can use. So shelf life is much longer time as it is already, it is a sexually alcoholic containing preparation, is already preservatives are there in terms of alcohol. So there is no need to go for. Should be stored in airtight container, narrow mouth, store in cool place away from sunlight. There are different types of asa and arista. So Kumari asa, Manduka asa, Punirna asa, Chandana asa. Aristas are Dashimul arista, Draksha arista, Vidanga arista, Ashoka arista. So many formulations are there in the market. Uh, in case of standardization, so standardization is typically because we have to go for standardization of Ayurvedic formulations from modern perspective. Rather say in terms of modern parameters, we have to understand. And we have to first of all, we have to understand about what is exactly standardization, which is like a numerical value or specific property of that product which quantifies the purity and quality of the formulation. So in terms of Ayurvedic drugs, so standardization means confirmation of its identity and determination of its quality and purity. In case of Ayurvedic, so first identity, so like a biological source of drug. So if take an example of turmeric, we are having a number of turmeric sources. That is curcuma longa, curcuma amada. Say in case we are having ambe halad is there, daru halad is there. So normal halad, typical. Then quality, the quality of the active constituents and how we are extracting or how we are formulating into the dosage form. Then about the purity, so extent of foreign materials may be present. So we have to make sure that our formulation should not have or say minimum presence of foreign materials. What are the different modern parameters? So organoleptic evaluation, microscopic, physical analysis, phytochemical analysis, particle size, test for heavy metals and toxins. Microbial contamination, test for specific pathogen, test for aflatoxins, pesticide residue, and shelf life. So most of the regulatory authorities have made it mandatory to have reports or the data for microbial contamination, pesticide residues. It is very much mandatory right now. Asana and Arista, we already covered. Yes, acid value is the most of important parameter. It is the same acid value what we are using for other uh, oils or for some other type of materials. It is same thing, but we have to go with that. Then we have to also go for viscosity studies with the help of viscometers. Depending upon the formulation, so we can have spindle type of viscometer, we can have plate and plate viscometer, we have with the cone and plate viscometer. Likewise, so depending upon the formulation, say for example, if it is a liquid formulation, so we will use spindle type of viscometer. But if it is avaleha or jam-like preparation, semi-solid dosage form, so we will use plate and plate viscometer. Leha, already covered with that. Churna. So these are the dried Ayurvedic dosage form, which comprises of fine powder of drugs, like we are having Hingvashtak Churna, Triphala Churna. So drug can be any dried food, part of the dried part of the plant, which may be the stem, leaves, roots, bark, fruits, etc. It may be. So churna is a free-flowing powder, and according to Ayurveda, so it has to be follow certain types of characteristics when getting qualified as churna. So the principle of using churnas is due to the fact that therapeutic value of the most of the substances is greatly increased when they are reduced to a very fine state of subdivision. So why we are trying to have a churna? Because of reduce the particle size, and it may increase the surface area which may get available for the dissolution, and in terms of absorption it will have uh, more absorption compared to the other dosage forms. Procedure, we have to take the separated powders, we have to clean properly, dry it thoroughly, then we need to pulverize them. We have to seal them through a T-mesh size. We have to weigh that up and mix together uniformly with the help of some mixers. It may be a planetary mixer, it may be some type of blenders. What is the shelf life? According to FDA or DNC Act, it can be stored up to 1 year. But there are some formulations, some proprietary medicines or proprietary churnas are there, so which may have storage or shelf life of up to 3 years. But due to the contamination or moisture retention, it may reduce the shelf life also. Ashwagandha Churna, Triphala Churna, Trikatu Churna, that is the combination of three black pepper piperine derivatives, Sudarshan Churna, Drakshadi Churna. How we can go for standardization of churna? So we can have color, odor, taste, then chemomicroscopy, powder characteristics we may have. Physical evaluation, loss and drying, we have to go for at 105 degrees Celsius. Total ash value, acid insoluble, water soluble extractives, and pH. So these physical evaluations or chemical evaluations are based on the fate or the journey of that churna material throughout our GI tract. That means when we are consuming orally this type of churna, uh, it may get distributed throughout our stomach fluid, and with that fluid it will get absorbed. So based on that, we are trying to have evaluation parameters. That is, we will go with the qualitative analysis, TLC, HPTLC, and HPLC. So at least UV visible spectroscopy we have to use for evaluation of churna material or Ayurvedic preparations. Standardization of churna. So churna can be standardized with particle size must be with 80 to 120 mesh size, and quartz churna, so 40 to 60 mesh. Microbial contamination, we have to find out with total aerobic content, enterobacteria content, and total fungal count. Then we have to also submit the data for specific pathogens like E. coli, Salmonella species, and Pseudomonas species. Again, we have to go for pesticide residue, extraction and purification. We will go with extraction and purification, and we will find out what exactly the contents of the pesticides. According to if we are exporting our Ayurvedic formulations to the European countries, so we have to furnish the data of the 97 pesticides which are commonly used in India. And if our product our exporting products contains some types of pesticides, our application for approval will get rejected. Test for aflatoxins, which has to be by the TLC, in order to know the shelf life. Gutica, Modak, Vati, and pills, tablets like this. So we have to go for these are like the solid dosage forms according to solid Ayurvedic dosage forms meant for oral. So they are made up of one or more drugs of plant, animal, or mineral origin. And it is like a step-by-step process we are going for. First we are going for the mixing, powder mix, sieving, mixing, and then we are adding liquids in order to have some granules, and then we are uh, having preparations of tablet by compression with the help of compression machine. Most of the time, the composition will have active principles. So, for example, if it is of the Triphala tablet or Triphala Guti, so it will have a Triphala as an active principle along with excipients, which may be like a glidant one, bulking agents, likewise, lubricants. So because we have to this packaging. So most of the time bottles are used. Strip packaging nowadays it is more popular for Ayurvedic formulations also. Blister packing also. Uh, Marketed formulations are Khadiradi Vati, Sanjeevani Vati. So there are a number of formulation in the form of pills, tablets, or gutica. What are the different standardization parameters? So you have to go with the organoleptic evaluation, along with the taste and methods. Then you have to go for test for heavy metals, HPTLC, TLC, aflatoxin. So most of the parameters are same for standardization. Again, physical evaluation, same parameters. These are according to the dosage form, that is Guti or Gati, and we must have hardness testing, uniformity in weight, uniformity in diameter, the friability test, dissolution time, and disintegration time. So this is typically a disintegration test apparatus where we are putting our formulation and we are applying. Uh, you will observe that when we are switching on the instrument, the instrument gets in the up and down position. And according to the standard books, if the disintegration time of the tablet is more than 15 minutes, the tablet will not get accepted. The tablet or Vati or Guti must have the disintegration time less than 15 minutes. So according to the USP, that is the United States Pharmacopoeia, which prescribes the thing, but it is typically for the pharmaceuticals. But when we are, because in case of USA, they are not recognizing Ayurvedic formulations as the pharmaceuticals. They are treating Ayurvedic formulations as a dietary supplements. So such parameters we can't have with Ayurvedic formulation. But if anyone is having the herbal medicine, they will treat it as they will recognize it as a nutraceutical or dietary supplement. And in such case, we have to follow the guidelines prescribed by the United States Pharmacopoeia. It is again a friability test. Why we are doing friability test? In order to have, because whatever the material we are using, or I say the product will get exposed to the different types of shocks, different types of treatment during its entire life up to the consumption. So try to identify what is exactly the strength of that dosage form. So we are putting around 20 tablets in that friability chamber, and we are rotating that drum for, say for example, for 30 times, 50 times or rotations per minute. And then we are observing if there is any lack of elegance or any disturbance in the edges is there or not. This is typically friability test apparatus we are using, where we are putting around 20 tablets on the system, and we are rotating or revolving at 25 RPM. So there is typical formula how to calculate the percent friability. Then we have to go for the hardness tester. So this is the Monsanto hardness tester, where we are putting the dosage form and we are applying the pressure until the tablets break. What is exactly the pressure we are trying to? The pressure at which the tablet break associated the crushing strength. The tablet or formulation should not be too much hard or too much brittle. It must be in the optimum range. Then uniformity of weight, we have to go with the analytical balance, and we have to try to find out what is exactly the uniformity, because we are preparing uh, the formulation in a batch of around, say, 10 lakh tablets or more than that. So we have to go for the uniformity of weight test, the dissolution test. So we are trying to find out, or we are simulating our GI tract, and we try to find out what will be the release of the active principles from that dosage form, right? So whenever the drug is getting inside the GI tract, so the dosage form will start releasing the drug composition, active drug principles, and it will get absorbed. So you have to find out what is exactly the rate of release of active constituents from that dosage form. And on that basis, we can find out what will be the absorption, the distribution, and in which time or at typical range you can find out. So this is the dissolution test. Nowadays, it is applicable for Ayurvedic formulations also. But again, the challenge is that Ayurvedic formulations are prepared with the herbs, and herbs may contain more than 50 to 60 active constituents. It may be. So it is a very challenging thing to identify what is exactly the active constituent and how we have to go for the analysis. There are two types, basket type of apparatus, and second one is a paddle type of apparatus. So this is a paddle type of apparatus where we are putting our dosage form in the basket, and we are using the paddles. So this mimics uh, the position of dosage form in the stomach, and we are trying to identify. Then it is again a bhasma. So bhasma literally means ash, which is obtained after incineration. Bhasmas are powdered form of Ayurvedic preparations obtained by calcination of metals. So it is typically calcination of metals or minerals with herbal or animal products by special process. So we always say it as a bhavana. So we are putting the herbal juices when we are incinerating metal or minerals. So it is ancient nano formulations. So according to the modern science, gold or silver, these are two heavy metals. But if you have seen in case of Ayurveda, gold, silver, copper, or many metals are used in the day-to-day practice or in the different. Say for example, they are using the Suvarna Bhasma, Mautik Bhasma, Raupya Bhasma, Tamra Bhasma. So there are a number of formulations in case of Bhasma which are used. And this is typically a nano formulation. So त्यांना त्यावेळेस कदाचित माहिती नव्हतं it's a nano formulation. But what they have derived a formula की हेवी मेटल्स असून सुद्धा कधीही हेवी मेटल टॉक्झिसिटी दिसलेली नाहीये इन केस ऑफ सुवर्ण भस्म किंवा ताम्र भस्म किंवा कुठल्याही भस्माच्या बाबतीमध्ये. अँड देर आर इवन कज्जली which is like amalgamation of mercury and sulfur. So if you have seen using a mercury for formulation, oral formulation साठी mercury वापरलेला आहे, बट एकही कज्जलीच्या बाबतीमध्ये टॉक्सिसिटीची केस आतापर्यंत रजिस्टर्ड झालेली नाही किंवा दिसतच नाही. एवढे प्रोसेसिंग होतात किंवा एवढ्या काही स्टेप्स होतात की त्यातनं तो फॉर्म बदलून नॉन टॉक्सिक फॉर्ममध्ये कन्वर्ट होतं. अँड दिस इज द क्लासिक थिंग अबाउट द आयुर्वेदा दॅट जर तुम्हाला ते लक्षात आलं की कुठल्या लॉजिकनं फॉर्म्युलेशन बनवलेलं आहे, देन यू विल लाईक अ सरप्राईज. आणि मला असं बरेच वेळा वाटतं की आत्ता जे आपण फॉर्म्युलेशन्स ज्याला आपण नॉवेल फॉर्म्युलेशन्स म्हणतो, ह्याचं सगळ्यांचं आपण जर म्हटलं तर लाईक डीप रूटेड इन द आयुर्वेदा म्हणतो. सो सुवर्णप्राश आपण जे म्हणतो, सो दिस इज द क्लासिक नॅनो फॉर्म्युलेशन आहे. त्यामुळे त्या केसमध्ये सुद्धा किंवा आपण लहान बाळाच्या बाबतीमध्ये बघितलं असेल की घरामध्ये लहान बाळ असेल तर त्याला सोन्याच्या अंगठीचे 2 वेढे 3 वेढे हे ठरलेले असतात आणि तेही क्लॉकवाईज घ्यायचे असतात. काही काही असं की त्यांचे अँटी क्लॉकवाईज घ्यायचे असतात. अँड इफ यू हॅव गॉन थ्रू, सो वी आर राईट नाव हॅव्हिंग दॅट प्रोजेक्ट विथ अस की आम्ही त्या सगळ्या गोष्टींना परत एकदा म्हणजे उलगडून परत एकदा लोकांच्या समोर मांडायचा प्रयत्न करतोय की किती चांगल्या प्रकारचे फॉर्म्युलेशन्स होते. त्याच्याकडे खरंच लॉजिक आहे. म्हणजे ती सहान टिपिकल एका दगड असतो त्याच्यापासूनच ती सहान घेतात आणि त्याच्यावरतीच ते उगाळलेलं असतं. आणि ते किती वेडे घ्यायचे, 1 वेढे 2 वेढे किंवा बदाम असेल, खारीक असेल किंवा मुरुड शेण असते, या सगळ्या याचे किती वेडे घ्यायचे ठरलेले होते त्याच्यामध्ये. आणि बाळाला इफेक्ट मिळायचा. म्हणजे म्हणतो की घरचा वैद्य हा खरंच असतो आणि ती कन्सेप्ट खूप स्ट्रॉंग होती. बट नाउ डेज वी आर पण म्हणजे नाही मानत त्या गोष्टींना अँड वी डायरेक्टली रिच अप टू द फिजिशियन टू हॅव सम अँटीबायोटिक्स अँड ऑल दोज थिंग्स. पण हे होते सगळ्यामध्ये. So importance of Bhasma. So these are like a potent one. It can be used in a small doses. Provides easily absorbed and usable calcium. And calcium from the Bhasma preparation हे कधीही किडनी स्टोन्स किंवा युरिन स्टोन्स होऊ देत नाही. On the other side, if you are using calcium carbonate from the synthetic origin, टिपिकली कॅल्शियम प्रेसिपिटेशन किडनीमध्ये दिसतं. और हार्ट रिलेटेड इंजुरीज होतातच होतात when you are using calcium carbonate as a direct source. Again, Bhasma maintain the optimum alkalinity for optimum health and ही या पद्धतीनेच बनवलेलं आहे. जेव्हा आपण याची आता प्रोसेस बघूया तेव्हा वी विल अंडरस्टँड व्हॉट इज एक्झॅक्टली. Bhasma cleanses the kidneys, intestines and liver. Again, maintains the healthier teeth and stronger bones. Alleviate the depression and insomnia. जर सगळ्यांनी बघितलं असेल की मौक्तिक भस्म किंवा म्हणजे मोतीपासून बनवलेलं हे असेल किंवा बरेचशा रौप्य भस्म आहे. सो डिप्रेशन आणि इन्सोमनियामध्ये खूप वेळा वापरले जातात. अँड क्लासिक आहे आणि हॅबिच्युअल नाही आहेत बिलकुल, बट इट इज दॅट. So it is again used in some chronic ailments. It is taken along with the milk, butter, honey, and ghee for the maximum absorption, because these are all used with some lipids, that is milk, butter, honey, and ghee. Bhasmikaran, which contains typical types of steps, and we will go with the things. So bhasmas are prepared with some steps. So first thing is like a general process. We always say it's a samanya shodhana. Shodhana is that is a purification or detoxification. So any metal or mineral may contain some of the impurities in the form of chemical moieties may be there, so which are already adhered, or in the form of some salts. So we have to remove those things and we have to take the pure material out of it. So for that purpose, we are using the samanya shodhana. Then we are having it is typically samanya shodhana is with we are treating it with we are heating that metal and we are putting in the liquid like oil, buttermilk, cow's urine, and we are again, this is repeated 7 times. And हे सगळं कशामध्ये केलं जातं तर एक इन्सुलेटेड बनवलं जातं किंवा ज्याला आपण म्हणतो की भट्टी बनवली जाते आणि त्या भट्टीमध्ये कावडंग केक्स वापरून हे केलं जातं. Then specific process, that is the विशिष्ट शोधना. So we are using typically cow milk 21 times we are purifying it. So metal heat करणे, quench करणे, परत एकदा heat करणे, परत quench करणे with the help of cow's milk we are using. Then marana, in such case, so this is the typical thing when we are using the paste with drugs and juices. We are typically छोटे छोटे आपण त्याच्या वड्या बनवतो त्या पद्धतीचे बनवलं जातं त्या भस्माच्या आणि परत हिट केलं जातं. या कन्व्हर्जन स्टेप्स आहेत. पहिल्यांदा शोधन झालं, त्याच्यामध्ये आपण प्युरिफिकेशन केलं, मारणामध्ये आपण त्याला आता वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारच्या ड्रग्ज आणि जे ज्युसेस आहेत त्याच्याबरोबर छोट्या पेस्ट बनवून हिट करतो. Then chalana, stirring, and last with the dhava. So you have to prepare such things. The gala, that is a filtering, and bhavana. So we are coating herbal extracts or decoctions. Then we are triturating. So ज्या त्या गोळ्या बनवलेल्या आहेत, ज्या वड्या बनवलेल्या आहेत त्या परत एकदा बारीक केल्या जातात. And then we have to go with the putan. Again, we have to prepare, we have to subject it directly to the fire treatment. Now in this case, आतापर्यंत सगळ्या स्टेप्सला क्लोज व्हेसल्समध्ये केलं जातं. लास्ट जे स्टेप्स आहेत तिथं त्याला ओपन ह्याच्यामध्ये केलं जातं. सो लाईक ओपन एअरमध्ये त्याला जाळलं जातं टिपिकली. And it converts basma or mineral or metal into a perfectly medicament. So this is typically how we are proceeding. We are keeping those fire lit. Mandur Bhasma is there, Suvarna Bhasma is there, typically Sadananda Hatu. So I will not go into the deep thing because this is the most interesting topic for me, and it will take around 2 to 3 days to cover the Bhasma preparations. Different quality control test for Bhasma. So it should not have the metallic luster or taste. It has to be in the typically drug type of taste must be there. When a small quantity is sprayed on the coal and still water, it should float because of reduced particle size. It should float on the surface. Bhasma should not revert to the original state. So, for example, if we are preparing the Mandur Bhasma, so that is the iron-containing Bhasma, that is the like if we have converted ferrous into the ferric, it should not get revert to the original state. So it should be very fine lightness. No characteristics must be there. So color may be anything as per the content. Loha Bhasma contains iron oxides. Naga Bhasma contains lead. Abrak Bhasma contains mica. Yashoda Bhasma, zinc oxide. Suvarna Bhasma, obviously with the gold. Evaluation test, SEM, TEM, organoleptic properties, microscopical evaluation, physical chemical evaluation, ash value, and all the same things. Here we have to stress on the heavy metals. Atomic absorption spectroscopy we can use for the detection of some heavy metals. Tail, so it is also called as medicated oil, and it contains the number of steps when we are using. So, Drava, any liquid medium as prescribed in the composition. Kalka, it is a fine paste of specified drugs we have to add. And the Sneha Dravya, that is the tail we have to. Then Gandha Dravya, the perfuming agents we are using. Say, for example, Dasmi or Hina we are using for Sneha Dravya preparations, which are typically used for moisturizing the different types of either skin or hairs or any type of related with the organs also. So there was a practice we were using, that is a nasya, that is we have to add oil or oily preparations in the nostrils, and it gets purifies. This for a typical type of treatment or naval administration of oil. So we have to add some of the oil to the navi. Likewise. So I will not go to the procedure because we have to cover the rest of the part of medicaments. These are like typically Mahaprabharaj, the proprietary medicines are the. So what is exactly the traditional medicine? According to the WHO, so it contains the plant, animal or mineral-based medicines, spiritual therapies, manual techniques, and exercise. Why we are trying to see here as a WHO definition about the traditional medicine is because when we are uh, exporting our products to the different countries, and we have to get into what exactly the traditional medicine according to that regulatory authority. Say, for example, if we are exporting to the UK, United Kingdom, or say European countries, we have to follow the regulatory authorities for that country. And in such case, if the system, traditional medicinal system of that country is inclusive, then there is no issue. If it is tolerant or integrated, we have to come into the countries. So in case of India, we are having integrated system of Ayurvedic preparations for our, because we are having the Ayush can say department, but typically Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy, and we are trying to have Ayurvedic practitioners. So we are having a long background of Ayurveda, and approximately 45,000 plants on Indian continent, out of which 15 to 20,000 have proven medicinal value, and most of them are having a background of Ayurveda, Unani, or Siddha, and in case some cases homeopathy also, but most of the time they're with the Ayurveda and Unani or Siddha. So what is exactly the herbal medicine? So according to the WHO, so we have to qualify for this definition when we are saying herbal medicine. It may be Ayurvedic medicine or it may be herbal medicine. We can say the proprietary medicine, but we have to qualify with this definition. So it must be a raw plant materials. Say for example, if I am going to give you a tulsi, so it is Ayurvedic preparation. So not as per the classical one, but it is a proprietary medicine, and we can say the tulsi capsules, or say example of gila, ashwagandha, like that. So herbs and herbal drugs. So there is a clear-cut difference between the herbs and herbal drugs. So herbs are typically herbs, which are like leaves, flowers, fruit, seed, stems, wood, bark, roots, rhizomes, or other plant parts. So which may be entire, fragmented, or powdered. But in case of herbal drugs, so these are like a finished level products that contain active ingredients such as aerial or underground parts of the plant or other plant materials or combinations thereof, whether in the crude state or plant preparations. So this is a typical definition of herbal formulations according to the modern science. So it is like extraction. The steps involved are like extraction, distillation, extraction, fractionation, purification, concentration, fermentation. So if you are looking down to the Ayurvedic, so you can have your own set of definition for such type of thing. Say for example, if I'm going to prepare as a barista, if I'm going to prepare tablet of some plant extracts, so I will use the word extraction in case of and if I'm trying to relate with the Ayurvedic test, so it is like bhavana treatment. So you can. So there is always and always a correlation between the modern language. It is up to you how you are looking at. So these include powder herbal substances, tincture, extracts, essential oils, express juices, and processed exudates. So Ayurvedic drugs, as per the classical textbooks, ancient textbooks, and herbal drugs. So these are as per due to the new research, what we can say. So these are along with some extracts from the plant for the purpose of curing certain deviation from the plant. So for the herbal drugs, there is a background of research for particular drugs. So for example, if I'm using the curcuma longa, and if I'm trying to have curcumin capsules for anti-cancer activity, so it is not as per the Ayurveda, but you can have some references from the Ayurveda, but you have developed, you have gone through the number of screening methods in order to recognize curcumin as anti-cancer. So this is the background. In case of Ayurvedic drugs, so already background is very much clear that how to prepare, for what purpose you are using the Ayurvedic drug. So types of herbal formulations based on the physical state: liquid dosage form, semi-solid dosage form, and solid dosage form. So these are the advantages of herbal products. So they do not provoke allergic reactions. They don't have any negative side effects. It is per se, Ayurvedic products are not having any negative side effects. It's because already formulation scientists or so the great inventors of Ayurvedic formulations have taken the responsibility or accountability of their formulation in terms of side effects. They have already given the cure of those side effects if it arises. So thanks to the pandemic situation or scenario, the demand of Ayurvedic or the herbal medicines have increased in such a way that it has shown the last 1.5 years has shown that true skyrocketing demand in the Ayurvedic or herbal products. So this is a typical report card of Dabur India, and you can see there is always and always increase in the use of herbal or Ayurvedic products. These are typically products from the herbal proprietary medicines. So single herbs, there is a shatavari or turmeric, and there are a number of the things on the cosmetics also. So when we are saying WHO guidelines for herbal medicine, so because we have to apply when we are exporting or when we are qualifying for manufacturing of Ayurvedic or herbal drugs, we have to go with the guidelines of WHO, World Health Organization. So there is again one challenge is about the safety, efficacy, and quality. So lack of research methodology, because Ayurvedic text language is so much complicated, I will say, so that it is very much hard to translate those formula in exact way what they have perceived. So that's what we are having. Then inadequate evidence-based traditional medicine or complementary alternative medicine. It is because it is as per the knowledge or wisdom of that Ayurvedic practitioner, what he has gained through his all the practice throughout life. And it is very much challenging that to have evidence-based documentation of such thing. So that is the problem with the Ayurvedic efficacy-related documentation. Then lack of international national standards. So typically what we can say, Ayurvedic medicines are regional, and that's what when we are getting globally across, we have to face the lack of international and national standards for ensuring the safety, efficacy, and quality control of the traditional medicines. Then lack of adequate regulation and registration of herbal medicine. So if you want to market or if you want to sell Ayurvedic products in India, there is no need to go for licensing even. There is no need to go for registration of Ayurvedic medicines. But if you want to manufacture it, you have to get approval. But if you are an Ayurvedic practitioner, then there is no need to go for registration, because according to the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, Ayurvedic Vaidya, Hakims or Siddha practitioners or homeopathic practitioners can prepare their own formulations or own dosage forms for their patients only. So there is no need to go for. Then inadequate support for research. Yes, again, there is always a conflict between the Ayurvedic manufacturers, pure Ayurvedic manufacturers or practitioners, and with the modern scientists or modern pharmaceutical manufacturers. There is always a conflict between on the basis of quality control test, manufacturing protocols, and all stuffs. So this is typically a strategy, strategic directions. So which is like a misleading one, and you can't. It's like ambiguity that where to go. So they have given the guidelines, so which typically based on the safety, efficacy, and so what exactly WHO guideline prescribes about? When we are saying the traditional herbal medicine, so it's a herbal medicine which is widely used, like Ayurvedic one. It must be supported by well-established and safety and efficacy data. Have been used within the local community for a minimum period of 15 years. But in case of Ayurveda, we are having documented use of around 100 years. I'm saying documented use. It is used way long back, around say 1000 year or 2000 or 3000 years, but documented proof is of around 100 years. It also includes a traditional medicine formulation to which minor changes have been made. So what to be called as herbal or traditional medicine, it is given in the WHO guideline when we are going for registration. There are proprietary medicines also. So we always called it then as a new herbal medicine. So how to define new herbal medicines? So herbal medicines are which may be a single or mixture of herbs can be considered as a new herbal medicine if never used within the community or region, used for only a short period of time, or used to a very small extent, or used in a new combination of herbal substances never combined before. So what are the different documents we have to submit when we are going for the registration of Ayurvedic or herbal preparations? Then these are the requirements for safety, where we have to do with the single dose toxicity. So I think so we have to make our students aware about when we are preparing any type of herbal medicine or Ayurvedic medicine, we have to go for the single dose toxicity, repeated dose toxicity, chronic toxicity, and organ targeted toxicity. Because nowadays when we are exporting our products to the modern countries, developed countries, at that time toxicity is typically issue. And in such case, organ targeted toxicity, we have to give clear cut plan. In immunotoxicity, we have to go for screening for different types of immunotoxicity data. Embryo, fetal toxicity, prenatal toxicity, if there is necessity. Mutagenicity, genotoxicity, it may cause the genotoxicity or mutagenicity. Then carcinogenicity. So we have to screen our products for all those types of toxicity studies. Then when we are going for, when we are getting qualified for traditional herbal medicine, so data must be unambiguous. How we have to go for literature search when we are putting, because if we are taking the relevance of Ayurvedic text, at that time, most of the toxicity studies are way off, or there are very much less data we have to put forth in terms of regulatory authority requirements. But you have to give answers for the following questions. So first thing is, does the literature refer to the same herbal preparation? So if any reference contains use of turmeric and the typical concentration or typical type of dosage form, if you are referring that literature, so you have to give an answer about, does that literature refer to the same herbal preparation? Can the data be extrapolated, that is extract prepared with 40% ethanol? And if you are using extract prepared with ethanol 60%, is there any relevance or extrapolation can be possible? The duration and the extent of use of herbal medicine. So we have to use have generated sufficient experience on the safety level. So in case of Ayurveda, we are not having any type of reporting system with the FDA that if the product is having safety or not. Most of the time, we discontinue the use of Ayurvedic preparations if there are any adverse effect or there are no effects even. We just we shut it down the treatment and we shift to the another treatment or another therapy or another physician. Toxicological information on single ingredient should be assessed for its relevance to the herbal medicine. So, as per the Ayurveda, it contains number of ingredients. So we have to prepare the toxicological information on single ingredients basis only. This is a typical data where we have to give preclinical data, that is with the animal experimentation we have to go for or not, and the clinical data, that is with the human being screening we have to give or not. So if we are changing the dosage form or likewise or even the doses, we have to go for preclinical, that is with the animal experimentation, as well as we have to go with the clinical, that is human being screening we have to. So these are the typical things what we have to put forth in the application. So I will just share these slides with the organizers, and they can have, because it's very much important one, because with these documentation only we have to prepare our formulation. So if the regulatory requirements, if we are unable to fulfill the regulatory requirements, our product will have no use. And that's what we have to get into the exact information about what regulatory requirements are. So ADR, adverse drug reaction reporting, we have to take into consideration. And in case of Ayurveda, it is given already, but we have to understand what is exactly the adverse drug reaction. So how did it happen? When did it happen? And how long the medication was there. So we have to. And for such a thing, pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance is like where we are doing a literature survey, or we are having a screening or survey methodology to identify if there is any adverse drug reaction or not. So I will skip the slides. So these are some issues with the standardization of raw material. So as we are having Ayurvedic manufacturing in India in a very large scale. So there are some issues with the standardization. Typically with the standardization of raw material, which is a major issue. So as per the Department of Ayush, nearly 600 medicinal plant products, 52 minerals, and 50 animal products are commonly used in the traditional Ayurvedic preparations. And medicinal plants are easily contaminated during the growth, collection, and processing. So we are implementing good agriculture collection practices, but still implementation of any guideline is like really a tough job. And almost most of the companies are facing the challenge of adulteration of raw materials. So substitution, adulteration, and heavy metals, so which is like a common problem right now we are having. Then microbial contaminants and mycotoxin. So maybe the biggest challenge right now we are having with us. Then conventional quality control methods often become insufficient because of the complex nature of the herbal medicine. So if I'm going to ask you that if the bhasmas are ready for the treatment or not. So according to Ayurveda, it's a very simple technique. So you have to take a pinch of bhasma in your hand with your fingers. त्याला रेखापूर्णत्वम म्हणतात. रेखापूर्णत्वम याचा अर्थ असा आहे की बोटांच्या ज्या रेषा असतात किंवा फिंगर्स म्हणजे आपण म्हणतो की बोटांच्या रेषा, त्याच्यामध्ये जर का ते भस्म बसत असेल किंवा एकदम कम्प्लिटली फील होत असेल, so it's fine. So it's really a complex thing, and it is very much insufficient to identify exactly the quality control protocols. Then several markers such as taxonomic, chemical, genomic, proteomic, and being Ayurvedic industry, actually Ayurvedic manufacturers आणि जे कोणी आयुर्वेदिक प्रॅक्टिशनर आहेत त्यांना या गोष्टींमध्ये इंटरेस्टच नाही. I'm sorry to say, but according to Ayurveda, it is already Ayurveda हे कम्प्लीट सायन्स आहे आणि त्याच्यामध्ये या सगळ्या गोष्टी कव्हर केलेल्याच आहेत. पण मॉडर्नायझेशनमध्ये किंवा सगळ्या गोष्टींमध्ये ज्या काही बदल झालेले आहेत आपण असं म्हणूया, तर त्या गोष्टीमुळे टॅक्झोनॉमिक किंवा केमिकल, जिनॉमिक, प्रोटीन मार्कर्स पूर्ण बदलले आणि आयुर्वेदिक ज्या काही टेस्ट होत्या, ज्या काही प्रिस्क्राईब केलेल्या टेस्ट होत्या त्या ह्या गोष्टींसाठी पूर्ण नाही आहेत. सो वी हॅव टू टेक, बट आयुर्वेदिक प्रॅक्टिशनर्स ह्या गोष्टीला मान्य होत नाहीत. ते म्हणतात नो, दिस इज नॉट द वे. अगेन डेव्हलप कंट्रीला आपल्याला केमिकल फिंगरप्रिंटिंग किंवा मार्कर बेस असेसमेंट द्यावं लागतं आणि अकॉर्डिंग टू आयुर्वेदा ही गोष्ट मान्यच नाही आहे. कारण ते कधीच इंडिव्हिज्युअल किंवा सिंगल इन्ग्रेडियंटला ते महत्त्व देत नाही. ते म्हणतात की ओके, वी हॅव टू प्रोसेस एंटायर थिंग. आयसोलेशनला आयुर्वेदामध्ये महत्त्वच नाही आहे. सो वी हॅव टू अंडरस्टँड. आणि आपण जे मॉडर्न सायन्स म्हणतो हे टिपिकली आयसोलेशनवरती बेस आहे. प्रत्येक गोष्ट आयसोलेट करा अँड ट्राय टू फाइंड आउट. बट निसर्ग जेव्हा बनवतो काहीतरी गोष्ट की नाही आपण म्हणतो, तसं त्या पाठीमागे किती लॉजिक आहे. म्हणजे वी ऑलवेज आस्क, म्हणजे लोकांना आम्ही सांगतो म्हणजे कॉन्फरन्समध्ये विचारतो की डिरेक्टली म्हणजे नारळाला एवढं सगळं हे करण्याची गरजच नव्हती. नुसतं पाणी दिलं असतं तरी सफिशियंट होतं. इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी टू हॅव अ फ्रूट लाईक सच थिंग, बट देर इज अ लॉजिक फॉर इच अँड एव्हरी एन्व्हायरमेंटमध्ये जे काही आहे त्याला लॉजिक आहे. ते लॉजिक आपल्याला समजत नाही, एवढंच फक्त फरक आहे. आणि आयुर्वेदिक ज्या काही गोष्टी होत्या किंवा फॉर्म्युलेशन सायंटिस्ट होते ते सगळे खरंच म्हणजे दे हॅव केवढा डीप अभ्यास केलेला होता त्यांनी प्रत्येक गोष्टीचा, की त्यांनी डाएटमध्ये, त्यांनी लाईफस्टाईलमध्ये जे चेंजेस सांगितले आहे की प्रत्येक ऋतूमध्ये कसं कसं पाहिजे, काय काय खाल्लं गेलं पाहिजे. आणि जसं आपण म्हणतो की ओके हिवाळा असला की ओके वी हॅव टू पुट डाऊन म्हणजे तिळाचे लाडू खायचे किंवा ते सगळ्या गोष्टी होत्या. सो देर इज अ लॉजिक. मग तसंच आयुर्वेदामध्ये च्यवनप्राश सुद्धा वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे सांगितलेले किंवा ह्या गोष्टी कुठंच आपल्याला दिसत नाही. सो वी हॅव टू लुक इन टू सच थिंग्स. lack of regulatory guidelines, but right now we are trying to push Ayush as a whole. भविष्यामध्ये लवकरात लवकर आपल्याला गाईडलाईन्स अवेलेबल होतील असं म्हणण्यात आता. स्किप दिस स्लाइड, ऑलरेडी कव्हर्ड. Okay, regulation in India, we are following the Drugs and Cosmetics Act and as per the DNC Act. Schedule T is there. So जे गुड मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग प्रॅक्टिसेस देतं आयुर्वेदिक किंवा हर्बल मेडिसिनच्या मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंगसाठी. Okay, so when we are comparing with USA, so USA मध्ये आयुर्वेदिक हर्बल असं काही नाही आहे. सो दे आर हॅव्हिंग डायटरी सप्लिमेंट्स अँड डायटरी सप्लिमेंट हेल्थ अँड एज्युकेशन ॲक्ट 1994. त्यामुळे आपल्याला तिथे कुठल्याही प्रकारचं FDA कडे रजिस्ट्रेशन करायची गरज नाही. ऑस्ट्रेलियामध्ये आयुर्वेदिक ह्याला कॉम्प्लिमेंटरी मेडिसिन म्हणून रेकग्निशन आहे. त्यामुळे इफ वी आर एक्सपोर्टिंग अवर आयुर्वेदिक फॉर्म्युलेशन्स टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया, इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ कॉम्प्लिमेंटरी मेडिसिन अँड जस्ट वी हॅव टू पुट फॉर द सेफ्टी अँड इफिकेसी डाटा अलॉंग विथ देम. दॅट्स इट. युरोपियन युनियन हो ते खूप स्ट्रिंजंट आहे युरोपियन युनियन. अँड फक्त तिथं आपल्याला मिनिमम 15 वर्षाचा आणि क्लिनिकल डाटा सबमिट करावा लागतो जिथं यूज झालेला असेल असा, म्हणजे लोकांबरोबर वापरले गेले असतील फॉर्म्युलेशन्स, तर त्याचा 15 वर्षाचा डाटा आपल्याला मिनिमम द्यावाच लागतो. आणि हे सगळ्यात म्हणजे अख्ख्या जगामध्ये सगळ्यात स्ट्रिंजंट असतील तर ते युरोपियन युनियन आहे. आणि तिथं जर का एखादा प्रॉडक्ट अप्रुव्हल होत असेल, सो देर इज नो नीड टू गो फॉर एनी अदर अप्रुव्हल, कारण अख्ख्या जगामध्ये ॲक्सेप्टेड होतात त्या गोष्टी. हर्ब ड्रग इंटरॅक्शन. सो नावडेज बरेच वेळा असं होतं की बरेचसे फिजिशियन्स ॲलोपॅथीचे ड्रग्स अलॉंग विथ सम आयुर्वेदिक और हर्बल ड्रग्स लिहून देतात आजकाल. बट वी आर नॉट नोईंग की खरंच हर्ब ड्रग इंटरॅक्शन होते की नाही होते, त्या एस्टॅब्लिश केल्यात की नाही केल्या ते माहीत नाही आपल्याला. से फॉर एक्झाम्पल ज्यांना डायबिटीस असेल त्यांच्यामध्ये मेटफॉर्मिन नावाचा ड्रग प्रिस्क्राईब केला जातो. आणि त्याचबरोबर पेशंट मेथीचे दाणे खातो बरेच वेळा. त्याचं असं म्हणणं असतं आणि ते सायंटिफिकली प्रूव्ह पण झालेलं आहे की मेथी जे फेनुग्रिक सीड्स आहेत ते जर आपण सकाळच्या वेळेस खाल्ले तर शुगर लेवल कमी होतात. बट इट मे टर्न अप इनटू, इट मे गेट प्रेसिपिटेट इनटू हायपोग्लायसेमिया. आणि अलॉंग विथ दॅट जर का आपण हे कंटिन्यू केलं तर अंदाजे 2 ते 3 महिन्यानंतर ड्यू टू द फेनुग्रिक सीड्स गॉल ब्लॅडरमध्ये स्टोन्स होतात. सो विच इज व्हेरी कॉमन. पण ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी अजून एस्टॅब्लिश झालेल्याच नाही आहेत डॉक्युमेंटरी. कारण अजूनही बरेच लोक क्रॉस पॅथी म्हणून आपण त्याला ह्याचा वापर करतात. किंवा काही नाही झालं तर ओके व्हॉट्सअपवरती कुठेतरी लिहिलेलं होतं की लिंबूचे हे फायदे असतात ते फायदे असतात लाईक. सो दे आर युझिंग इट. अँड आयुर्वेदा इज व्हेरी क्लोज टू द युअर डे टू डे लाईफ. आणि बऱ्याचशा गोष्टी समजा आपण असं म्हटलं की if we are following typical Maharashtrian diet, it is complete diet. त्याच्यामध्ये जसं सगळ्या गोष्टी आहेत की कुठली गोष्ट किती प्रमाणामध्ये पाहिजे. से फॉर एक्झाम्पल राईस किती पाहिजे, भाकरी किती पाहिजे, भाजी कुठली पाहिजे, काय पाहिजे. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू दॅट इट इज दॅट. बट अशा वेळेस जर का आपण म्हटलं की ॲलोपॅथिक मेडिसिन्स वगैरे, सो इट इज लाईक अ डिफरंट थिंग. देन शेड्यूल टी जो प्रिस्क्राईब केलेला आहे त्याच्यामध्ये पूर्णपणे गाईडलाईन्समध्ये दिलेलं आहे की हाऊ टू गो फॉर मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग, कुठल्या कुठल्या प्रकारच्या गोष्टी आपल्याला तिथे कराव्या लागतात. सो स्किप दिस. येस, दिस इज द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट थिंग. हर्बल ड्रग रेग्युलेशन्समध्ये शेल्फ लाईफ कशी डिटरमाइन केली जाते. सो जे रूल्स फार्मास्युटिकलसाठी आहेत तेच रूल्स आयुर्वेदासाठी पण वापरले जातात. फक्त आयुर्वेदामध्ये एक गोष्ट कन्सिडर केलेली आहे की आयुर्वेदिक फॉर्म्युलेशन्स आर कम्प्लीट फॉर्म्युलेशन्स. ते इन्फिनाईट टाईमसाठी टिकावेत याच दृष्टीने ते बनवलेले असतात. उदाहरणार्थ इफ यू आर टेकिंग एक्झाम्पल ऑफ आसव अरिष्टा. 50-50, 60-60 वर्ष झालेले असं आहेत आतापर्यंत अवेलेबल आहेत, त्यांना काही होत नाही. हां, फक्त ते व्यवस्थित ठेवले असतील तर. तसंच म्हणजे मंडूर भस्म किंवा लोह कल्पना आहेत किंवा जे भस्म आहेत टिपिकली त्यांना ही 10-10 वर्ष आहेत. काही काही अशी औषधं आहेत की त्यांना हे इट इज बाय द ॲक्ट. सो बट फॉर द सेक ऑफ अंडरस्टँडिंग काही काही ठिकाणी 1 वर्ष पण दिलेलं आहे. अर्क आहे कारण ते 1 वर्षामध्ये खराब होऊन जातात. अर्क इज टिपिकली एक्स्ट्रॅक्ट्स. As per in India, we are having the Central Council of Indian Medicine, then ICMR, CSIR, Department of Ayush, and Drugs and Cosmetics. हे सगळेकडे आपल्या आयुष म्हणजे आयुर्वेदिक फॉर्म्युलेशन्स आपण मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग कंट्रोलिंग होतं. So there is one typical thing. So this is the typical certificate what we get when we are submitted by the Ayurvedic clinical trial. So clinical trial, okay, with the help of healthy human volunteers आणि त्यानंतर with some specialized disease or disorder group volunteers आपण करतो. आता phase 1 which is called as preclinical trial, which may not be necessary कदाचित कधी कधी, कारण जर का तो ड्रग खूप वेळापासून वापरलेला असेल सो तर ते वापरायची म्हणजे क्लिनिकल ट्रायल करायची गरज नाही आहे फेज 1 स्टडीज. बट इफ जर तो नवीन असेल, प्रॉप्रायटरी मेडिसिन असेल तर आपल्याला फेज 2 क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स कराव्याच लागतात अँड ऑर फेज 3 पण करावे लागतात. फक्त त्या केसमध्ये आपल्याला काय करावं लागतं तर आयुर्वेदिक प्रॅक्टिशनरला आपल्या बोर्ड ऑफ अनालिसिस आपण किंवा बोर्ड ऑफ क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स म्हणतो त्याच्यावरती आपल्याला त्याला अपॉइंट करावं लागतं. सो co-investigator or collaborators of the expert group are from associations of physicians. आणि केस इन सच केस आयुष मंत्रालयातनं आपल्याला पर्सन अपॉइंट करावं लागतं. आता ज्या आयुर्वेदिक प्रॉडक्टच्या क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स असतात तर त्या सगळ्या DCG आहे, दॅट इज द डायरेक्टरेट कंट्रोल जनरल ऑफ इंडिया, जे आहे त्यांच्याकडनंच आपल्याला या सगळ्या गोष्टी त्यांच्या ऑफिसमधूनच आपल्याला अप्रुव्हल मिळतं. So what are the different problems what we have to? So quality issues still are there because of understanding, then processing and harvesting issues, quality control related issues, administrative issues, infrastructure related issues. So there are many problems we have to face in case of Ayurveda because though it is ancient science, but still we have to face such type of issues, because meeting the modern challenges, we have to do it. Then pharmacovigilance, that is a study related with the post approval phases, clinical trials, IPR related issues, biopiracy related issues, irrational use. आयुर्वेदिक प्रोडक्टच्या बाबतीमध्ये बरेच वेळा असं होतं की थोडा रिझल्ट मिळायला लागल्यानंतर पेशंट्स बरेच वेळा भरपूर खत घेतात त्या गोष्ट. म्हणजे बरेच वेळा ॲलोवेरा ज्यूस किती प्यायचं, मला असं वाटतं की बरेच जण दिवसाला जवळपास 100 200 ml पितात प्युअर ज्यूस, किंवा जसं मगाशी म्हटलं फेनुग्रिक सीड्स खूप खातात. तो दॅट इज इररॅशनल यूज, म्हणजे गरज नसतानाही ते होतात गोष्टी. अँड सोशल मीडिया इज अगेन अनादर कल्प्रिट दॅट इट कंटिन्युअसली बंबार्डमेंट होत असतं की नको तुम्ही वापरलंच पाहिजे. नो, देर इज नो नीड. Then R&D related issues because of transcription related issues. तर आपल्याला ज्या एन्शंट लँग्वेजमधल्या गोष्टी आहेत त्या ट्रान्सक्रिप्ट करताच येत नाही आता. Other issues maybe related with the collection and cultivation. So this is the biggest loss to the country. Our heritage is really in the danger if we are not going to maintain its climate. So exactly what is needed, innovation for advanced medicine, and this is our vision, to have innovation of the natural products through research and for sustainability. So thank you very much. So if there are any suggestions, so Ayurveda is really knowledge, or it's like ocean of knowledge, but I have just tried to just touch some of the drops of those knowledge. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such a nice information and guidance in deep. क्वेश्चन कोणाला असतील तर विचारू शकता फॅकल्टीमध्ये.
Thank you so much for detailed presentation.
सर एक प्रश्न विचारू का?
हा सर, प्लीज.
सर आयुर्वेदिक मध्ये फॉर्म्युलेशन्स आपण जे पाहिलं आता, पण जर आपल्याला जर प्री क्लिनिकल ट्रायल किंवा क्लिनिकल ट्रायल जर घ्यायचे असतील तर ते आपण कसं घेऊ शकतो सर?
असं सगळ्यात पहिल्यांदा जर आपलं फॉर्म्युलेशन हे प्रोप्रायटरी आहे का क्लासिकल आहे, आपणच बनवलेलं असेल, बरोबर आहे?
हो सर.
बरोबर. तर त्याचे जर रेफरन्सेस असतील आपल्याकडे, जर ते आयुर्वेदिक टेक्स्टमध्ये असतील तर आपल्याला प्री क्लिनिकल घेण्याची गरज नाही आहे. आणि जर का तुम्ही अदर दॅन दॅट यूज प्रेफर करणार असाल, से फॉर एक्झाम्पल आयुर्वेदिक ह्याच्यानुसार फेनुग्रिकचा किंवा टर्मरिकचा वापर जर अँटी डायबेटिक म्हणून सांगितलेला असेल, जर आता मी त्याचा वापर वुंड हिलिंगसाठी म्हणत असेल, तर त्या केसमध्ये मला प्री क्लिनिकल आणि क्लिनिकल करणं गरजेचंच आहे. तर प्री क्लिनिकलसाठी काय आहे, तर आपल्याला जे टॉक्झिसिटी स्टडीज आहेत पहिल्यांदा ॲक्यूट आणि क्रोनिक हे करावे लागतात, आणि त्यानंतर डिसीज और डिसऑर्डर रिलेटेड जे काही मॉडेल असेल स्क्रीनिंगचं ॲनिमलमध्ये, तर ते आपल्याला करावं लागेल. आणि फॉर क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स आपल्याला प्रोटोकॉल सबमिट करावा लागतो की फेज 2 पासून फेज 4 पर्यंतचा. तर पहिल्या ह्याच्यामध्ये आपण किती व्हॉलेंटियर्स घेणार हे ॲज पर द गाईडलाईन्स खूप क्लिअर आहे. पहिल्यांदा आपण 100 व्हॉलेंटियर्स बरोबर करतो, नंतर आपण 1000 व्हॉलेंटियर्स बरोबर करतो, नंतर आपण 10,000 व्हॉलेंटियर्स बरोबर ही केस स्टडी म्हणजे स्क्रीनिंग करतो, आणि बेस्ड ऑन द डाटा. पण मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम होतं काय सर, की बऱ्याचशा आपल्या जे फॉर्म्युलेशन्स असतात त्याच्यातले जे इन्ग्रेडियंट्स आहेत ते हर्बल ओरिजिनचे असतात, आणि त्याचा कुठे ना कुठेतरी आपला रेफरन्स ऑलरेडी यूज झालेला आपल्याला मिळतो, आणि आपण त्याच्यातनं वे ऑफ घेऊ शकतो. कारण प्री क्लिनिकल आणि क्लिनिकल ह्या एवढ्या कॉस्टली गोष्टी आहेत सर की इट्स नॉट अफोर्डेबल इव्हन. सो वी ऑलवेज टेक हेल्प फ्रॉम एन्शियंट लिटरेचर की कुठे ना कुठेतरी त्याचा यूज दिलेला असावा.
सर अजून एक प्रश्न होता, जर आपण नॅनो पार्टिकल्स जे बनवतोय आता सध्या नॅनो पार्टिकल्स चालू आहे, तर त्याचा काय वापर करता येईल कसं आहे?
हो सर, आता नॅनो पार्टिकल्स आपण म्हटले विथ हर्बल्स केलेले असतील, समजा असे फॉर एक्झाम्पल आपण नीमचे नॅनो पार्टिकल बनवलेत असं आपण समजूया. तर नीमसाठी नॅनो पार्टिकल जेव्हा बनवतो ना, हा सर टोटली एक वेगळा प्रकार आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये आपण नीमचे बनवत नाही, त्यातले ॲज अ डिरेक्टिनचे बनवतो किंवा टिपिकली एका सिंगल इन्ग्रेडियंटचे बनवलेले असतात ते. त्यामुळं इट इज नॉट नाव हर्बल ऑर आयुर्वेदिक. इट इज अ नॅनो पार्टिकल आणि त्याला फार्मास्युटिकल्स जसे ट्रीट केले जातात तशा पद्धतीने त्याला ट्रीटमेंट आपल्याला द्यावी लागते. म्हणजे प्री क्लिनिकल आणि क्लिनिकल दोन्ही करावे लागतात आपल्याला त्या केसमध्ये.
ओके, थँक्यू सर. थँक्यू सर.
ओके, थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
Now I request Dr. MS Burge ma'am to express vote of thanks.
Thank you, Vinaya ma'am. At the outset, I would like to thank Honorable Dr. Suhit Gilda sir for giving thorough insights into development of Ayurvedic medicine. Really, sir has covered a whole paper of Ayurvedic. Actually, sir has discussed basic Ayurvedic formulations, dosage forms, their classification, precautions during preparation of such kind of formulations, and the standardization parameters including physical, chemical, and biological evaluation. Sir has also discussed Ayurvedic and herbal drugs, their difference types of herbal drugs, also market value of Ayurvedic drugs, WHO guidelines, and challenges in these Ayurvedic medicines. So we are really very much thankful to Sir for guiding us thoroughly into this new topic, Ayurvedic medicine. So since we are having BSc Drug Chemistry as a new course, so this will really help us uh, as a whole paper of Ayurvedic. Thank you very much, sir, once again, and we would like to collaborate with you in near future.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. Today's FDP program over.
First, John.